Famed, of course, for my unique red skin and unparalleled skills as a general of the House of War, I, the Red Prince, was raised within the vast palaces of the fabled Forbidden City. I was destined to become the next emperor. But my ambitions suffered a bit of a setback when I fell from grace for cavorting with demons. Now, I'm exiled and hunted by assassins. But I assure you, I remain undaunted and as determined as ever to claim my rightful throne.
I used to be a slave, kept under the thumb of the master, the bastard that made me hunt down my own kin. How did he do that, you ask? With the living scar you see on my cheek, this horror that takes no more than a song sung by Master Dearest to control my very thoughts. But now the tables have turned. I broke my shackles, and when I finally find him, I will make the Master sing a very different kind of song.
Once I was a crusader for the Divine Order. I pledged my life to Lucian the Divine. The war changed everything. He sent me to save the elves I grew up amongst. I arrived too late. Lucian ordered the use of death fog against the Black Ring, annihilating everyone I once knew in the process. Now I'm a mercenary killer, one of the infamous Lone Wolves. And my next target is none other than Lucian's own son.
I was just thinking about someone I used to know. My cousin, the Queen, in fact. A tyrant. I tried to stop her, but things don't always go according to plan. She cast me out to a forgotten island, and made short work of my allies, too. Lucky for me, I was able to commandeer a ship, and began a new life for myself, out on the high seas. Aye, but I hear that the Queen is at it again. And there's something darker behind her madcap schemes this time. If I don't stop her, I don't know who will.
All my life, I've been a performer, a musician, beloved and celebrated by all. But I have a secret. I'm also a playground for sprites and spirits and... worse. The voice that rings inside me now is darker than any that came before. Almost caused a bunch of my fans to rip each other to pieces. But you can trust me. I've got this under control. Step 1. Find out who, or what, is trying to take control of my mind. Step 2. Make it sorry it ever tried.
Oh, don't stare. How would you look after eons in some ghastly crypt? Your people are rather prone to death. Mine are not. Yet when I emerged from my completely unjustified imprisonment, I found them gone. Our culture forgotten. Any trace of the world I knew all but obliterated. I must even hide my true face beneath an ever-shifting mask for fear you savages will attack me. That is how I wander this strange world, trying to uncover the truth about a history you primitive people never even knew existed.
It all happened like I knew it would. A single drop of source magic. And, like flies to honey, the monsters swarmed. The rebel panicked. The carnage began. And the Magisters pointed their fingers at me. Just as I'd planned. I was shackled and collared and sent to Fort Joy. I'd come here to kill Godwoken. But instead I became part of their story.
So, still a bit groggy, are we? Don't worry, the sedative will wear off soon enough. Easy now. No need to hurry. Get your bearings and report to me upstairs.
Ugh. What a dismal way to wake. In the belly of the beast. Let's see if I can grope my way out. Still, not the worst bed I've ever slept in. Bones are so boring. Without flesh, there's no memories to be had. Locked. An animal pen. How utterly charming. Huh, this again.
Did you expect a needle? Did you expect a needle?
Shaking her fluffy coat, the sheep eyes you balefully, her rectangular eyes like letterboxes to the void. With one sharp hoof, she kicks you right in the shin.
Bah! Bah!
The long, sharp needle is blackened with the ink that fuels its purpose, to tattoo the names of those you hunt upon your skin.
Did you expect a needle?
I should have known there'd be trouble.
I'm not one to let sleeping dogs lie.
The prisoner's eyes meet yours. He speaks not with gratitude, but with gleeful malevolence.
Ah, freedom tastes better than wine. And I can set you free in return. Say your prayers while you've breath to speak them, lass. The halls await. You there, come here.
What would he have to gain by killing me? I need to keep my guard up.
empty.
Did the murderer take him into this room? Or was he already here? My, these smelling salts are strong stuff. take him into this. What a well of knowledge this tome is. Dallas is such a dear lending it to me. But who? Why, you're looking a bit more chipper. Yes. Looks like that collar fits you snugly enough. Nice bit of work, even if I do say so myself. There you are. Not too tight, I hope. The collar, I mean. Oh, not to worry. Every dog has to get used to its leash. In the meantime, your next stop will be Magister William. All passengers have to be registered in the ship's manifest, and he's the chap in charge of the logs. You'll find him on the other side of this deck, in the officers' quarters.
Yes, this is a rare kind of magic. I'll need to write to headquarters right away.
Dungeon? You have the gall to call my laboratory a dungeon? I'd be quite annoyed with you if you didn't look so honestly perplexed.
Index fingers pressed to her lips, she pauses a moment to give you a scrutinizing gander.
My word, you do seem a bit befuddled, don't you? Perhaps I was a bit too generous with that sedative. Oh, well, I'm sure you'll soon gather your wits. Most likely. Eventually. In the meantime, all you need to know is that we're en route to Fort Joy. A new life awaits, and if you're a particularly good girl, perhaps a cure as well. An end to Source. For good.
She frowns and peers at you closely, resting the back of one hand on your forehead and taking your pulse with the other.
Delusions such as these are rare, but not unheard of. I recommend a cup of mulled wine and another night's sleep. Just take it easy.
No marks, no indications of a struggle. This is a rare kind of magic. I'll need to write to headquarters right away. Did the murderer take him into this room? Or was he already here?
Good gods. There's been a murder here.
A young magister stands pale and silent. Her knuckles whiten around her weapon as you pass. Behind the magister, a bloodied mass lies in a heap. Gore and limbs lie at odd angles. You can't make out a face amid the mess.
There's been a murder. A sorcerer was killed by one of your own. Lucky you were busy getting your collar fitted at the time, or you'd be a suspect like the rest of them. Waters is investigating. She'll figure out who did it. Always does.
No known associates. In fact, he seemed quite
Move
averse
along.
to spending time with the others. Ugly sight, isn't it? Burns me up this happened under our protection. We're extremely lucky no Voidwalker followed the source that did this.
She looks up at you with a mirthless smile.
I was on duty in your room when the murder happened. You were asleep the whole time. Didn't even stir. You're one of the only indisputably innocent people on the ship. Unless you can commit murder in your sleep, of course. Finn was killed by Source. If a Magister could do that, there wouldn't be a Magister. It looks more like a passenger managed to slip their collar. And the rest, well, you see the evidence in front of you. Listen, I could use someone to keep their ears open among the passengers. Sometimes they clam up in front of a uniform. Bring me a good lead, and I'll throw in a shiny gold coin for you. How about that? Not in here, it isn't. You let me know if you hear anything. Whoever did this is dangerous.
Sing us a song, I know you can.
Be good, you scallywags.
It was one of them. I know it. Would you put a knuckle in it? I'm trying to concentrate. They
They don't care about us. We're like
Oh,
cattle.
there you are. Wife.
I'll give you that knuckle if you keep carrying on.
Would you please tell this very charming gaggle of not at all brat-like babes that I am by no accounts this loser woman, nor do I sing, in fact. I'm deathly allergical.
Mad? Insufferable, surely.
What are you trying to hear anyway?
I'll tell you if you can keep it quiet.
The young woman seems about to raise her hand, but quickly remembers herself and nods pointedly at the excited children.
Who indeed? Why, my name is, Madame Josephine Gribbles de Peeb.
The children break out into giggles.
I say, it is.
Her pinched face cracks into a great grin, and she shoos the children away from her with a laugh.
Yeah, okay, you found me out. Go on and git, and maybe I'll sing you something when I'm good and ready.
She turns to you, dark-eyed and dirty-haired, and smiles flatly.
Gotta keep ourselves entertained, haven't we? You presume right.
It was one of them. I know it.
Nope, trying not to find anything out either. Ignorance is bliss. The utterer, the better.
Care about us. We're like cattle to them.
Thanks, but I already belong to an elite and exclusive ship gang. We play ball every day after lunch. You're too soft for it. You take care, though.
Suddenly, her eyes cloud to an unnatural black. Greyish veins run down her face, and her mouth tightens into a cruel sneer. As quickly as they came, the clouds clear. She smiles as though no change came over her.
Good luck, Chief.
Enough for me to listen.
Unacceptable. I've never dined on anything less than a dozen-course dinner, and I don't intend to do away with the custom.
Well, there has been a murder, Your Majesty. Maybe that has the Magisters more concerned than your appetite.
Don't you get saucy with me when you clearly don't know the first thing about sauce.
Did you see the body? They ought to let you taste a bit. Maybe you'd find out who done it.
Good, you scallywags.
A broad dwarf sits totally upright on the bench, eyes closed, palms face up on his knees. His beard is a cascade of meticulous plaits, each one braided through with golden medallions. He raises an eyebrow as you approach, but doesn't open his eyes.
Listen up, Gero. You hear that?
What's your name? Gods, didn't your mother teach you any manners?
She got eaten by a void.
The ship, of course.
Forget it.
A wave of sound washes over you. The unintelligible chatter of your shipmates, the groaning of wood from floor to ceiling, the boom, crash and crackle of waves around you, complaints from the sea itself.
I always knew you'd turn out rotten, Ben Mason.
And?
Your kind always hung closest to our divine, like bulls around a campfire.
Well, we've got this wolf on a leash now.
The fellow cocks his ear, listening.
Gets here, we'll hang you right over the side of this ship with it.
That isn't anger. It's...
He cocks his ear to the other side, then smiles.
anticipation. She senses something. I'd hold on to my breeches if I were you, mate. That's all you hear, though. Listen close. There now, just like that.
How dare you classify
Squeak!
I've seen more appetizing things coming out of plague-stricken pigs.
His eyes snap open as his countenance breaks into an expression of joy. One great paw claps you on the back. The other catches you before you lose your footing.
I've never dined on anything less
There,
than a dozen-
you heard it, didn't you? I knew it. I knew it. Aye, this is good news, kiddo. Good news.
There has been a murder, Your Majesty.
No, you beautiful idiot. That wasn't any rat. It was the wheel. Squeaks whenever the helmsman jerks it clockwise, which means we're heading east. Burn my beard. That means if we've been traveling for... Yes, only 10.34 nautical miles to Fort Joy.
Your kind always hung closest to our divine, like wolves around a campfire.
You've got this wolf on a leash now.
Yeah, no indeed, kiddo. But that ain't my final destination.
The dwarf leans back from the table and strokes his beard, gold medallions jingling merrily. His eyes roll over to you.
That'll be all, thank ye kindly, kiddo.
Never thought you'd end up a prison guard.
That right? I always knew you'd turn out rotten.
He continues stroking his beard, a beatific smile on his lips, and doesn't acknowledge you anymore.
You've got this wolf
If
on
you'll
a
be
leash.
pardoning me, I'll be much obliged.
As soon as the Inquisitor gets
They're
here,
everywhere now, the Magisters. In my hometown, you can't throw a shoe without hitting one. We're not safe from them, not anywhere.
I forgot how to sing. I did.
Name?
It was one of them. I know it.
would you put a knuckle in it? I'm trying to concentrate.
They don't care about us.
Well, you aren't here on my list. Scrammy. We're trying to catch a killer here.
One of us wouldn't kill our own. They're picking us off one by one.
Can we just skip to the part where I reassure you and you shut up?
So, anything interesting for me? I'll take that as a no.
Your kind always hung closest to our divine, like wolves around a campfire.
Well, you've got this wolf on a leash now.
As soon as the Inquisitor gets here,
The elf is reading a volume of Cranley Hubert's famous encyclopedia. He looks up, his big round eyes scanning your body, absorbing every detail. He reaches out and examines your face, tugging at your ears and prodding your nose.
I'll give you that knuckle if you keep carrying on.
Fascinating.
He sits back and returns to his book, flicking quickly from page to page, completely oblivious to your presence.
Insufferable, surely.
I am not as brittle as all that, young lady. My fingers will hardly... Although perhaps you mean... Oh dear. I seem to have crossed some cultural taboo. How difficult.
I've seen more appetizing.
You have my apologies, fellow elf. Perhaps I should demand the same from those red-cloaked humans. They laid their hands on me more than once.
Unacceptable. I've never dined on anything less than a dozen course dinner, and I don't intend to do away with the custom.
I do not believe I've been drawn anywhere. It is a quaint little read, but it has its faults. It is simultaneously too detailed and insufficient. I know the beginning of this tale and the end, but I am rather missing the middle. Tell me, what do you know of our world's history? Most unusual, and if it's not too rude to suggest, not much of an answer. No, I want to know about the Celestial. I want to know about your gods. This text tells me that they created all creatures, but nothing of what came before. Where did these gods come from? Who are their people? Where are the others of their kind? Of course you don't have any useful information. Why did I expect anything else? Now please, run along. I have a world to decipher.
No amount of pestering will get the elf to take his eyes off his book or respond to your questions.
Put a knuckle in it. I'm trying to concentrate.
They don't care about us. We're like cattle.
Well, well. What have we here? A fresh face in this stale hell. Let's size you up, shall we? See if you'll do.
The lizard looks you up and down, like a farmer would a fetching horse. All of a sudden, he grips you firmly by the chin, with the intent of inspecting your teeth.
What are you trying to hear anyway?
I'll tell you if you can keep it quiet long enough for me to listen.
There's some discoloration, but I've seen worse. After all, one can't expect to find prime merchandise on a squalid little ship like this. Now then, to business. You will answer me 3 questions. The first one is this. Can you cook?
Your kind always hung closest to our divine, like wolves around a campfire.
Well, you've got this wolf on a leash.
Oh, goodness, no. And don't even mention the demon's testes that are turnips. On to the second question. Can you knit, weave? In short, tailor? Yes, well, I'll count that as a no, shall I? On then to my final query. Have you the ability to administer the upkeep of one's personal appearance? The delicate art of cosmetics is what I'm after.
I'll give you that knuckle if you keep carrying on.
One of us wouldn't kill our own. They're picking us off one by one.
Can we just skip to the part where I reassure you and you shut
Just as
up?
I thought. That explains what's besieging my nostrils.
Mad? Insufferable? Surely.
So, 3 questions asked, 3 questions answered. Let's evaluate, shall we? As per your own testimony, you have the taste buds of a dung beetle, the fashion sense of a monkey in a clown suit, and your personal hygiene reminds one of a carcass rotting in the sun.
I always knew you'd turn out rotten, Ben.
That won't do at all, see? I'm sad to say I must deny you the opportunity to be my slave. Ever so sorry. I'll have you know that threatening one's master is punishable by death. You'll never attain the rank of slave with manners such as that. Still, hone your skills, and one day you may just qualify for a position in a lesser household than mine. You keep dreaming, you hear?
Never thought you'd end up a prison guard, Vic.
That right? I always knew you'd turn out rotten, Ben Mezd. I'm busy watching for clues, sorcerer. Go take your sub-story somewhere else.
It was one of them. I know it.
Would you put a knuckle in it? I'm trying to concentrate.
A scruffy man lounges against the wall with scarred arms folded. A sly smile playing on his face, he stares across at the Magister guarding him. Noticing you, he straightens and beckons for you to come closer.
Watch your back, new fish. There's a murderer on board, and I'd bet 3 months' pay it's this tramp Ifan.
Rolling his eyes at the Magister's warning, the man named Ifan beckons again. He leans in and adjusts your collar with a sharp tug, balancing its weight so it no longer presses unpleasantly on your neck. He winks.
Pinches less that way, right?
Hocking a phlegmy gobbet in your general direction, the sullen Magister settles back to his task of glowering at Ifan. And now, you.
There's nothing else I can make, Your Majesty. Turnips and water are all I was given.
We used to know each other, more's the pity. I was his commander many, many, many moons ago. Isn't that right, Vic?
Standing far back from Ifan, the tight-faced Magister draws one finger across his throat in an elaborate fashion, but says nothing. Ifan grins, flashing pointed white teeth.
Same as he was at 14 years old. Only difference is somebody gave him a bigger sword and now he's Johnny Big Pants. No. The dead man, Finn, is it? I'd no business with him. And I wouldn't put a man down without good reason.
He glances over at Magister Victor, who's staring back at him with pointed intensity.
Damn shame sheer annoyance isn't reason enough. Long story. Maybe I'll tell you about it in the Joy. Away from interested parties. The Joy, I've heard a lot. Nothing good. No surprise there, since Bishop Alexander runs the show. Wonder if we'll get to meet the Ringmaster himself. Not interested in the son of the Divine himself? I don't blame you one bit. But Vic here will blow a blood vessel if he hears you talking like that.
What are you conspiring about over there? You, elf, what's your name?
Oh, don't mind him. Vic's just got a bee in his bonnet. And that bee is me.
Name.
Magister Victor looks at you suspiciously, then scrawls something illegible down in a tiny notebook. He scowls at you as he stows the notebook back in his voluminous robes.
Away with you, at once.
Ifan performs an elaborate pantomime of keeping quiet, one finger in front of his lips as he leans back against the wall.
Can we just skip to the part where I reassure you and you shut up?
You think me mad?
Mad? No. Insufferable? Surely.
I spent my life singing for my slaves to bring me my supper. Finer fare than boiled roots and rotten tubers, too. Meanwhile, the Magisters feast on honeyed meat behind this very wall. The indignity.
Your kind always hung closest to our divine, like wolves around a campfire.
Well, you've got this wolf on a leash now.
Soon as the Inquisitor gets here, we'll hang you right over the side of this ship with it.
Oh, lucky find.
That right? I always knew you'd turn out rotten, Ben Mezd. Your kind always hung closest to our divine, like wolves around a campfire.
Well, you've got this wolf on a leash now.
Soon as the Inquisitor gets here, we'll hang you right over the side of this ship with it.
It was one of them. I know it.
Would you put a knuckle in it? I'm trying to concentrate.
They don't care about us. We're like cattle to them.
I'll give you that knuckle if you keep carrying on.
One of us will kill our own. They're picking us off one by one.
Can we just skip to the part where I reassure you and you shut up?
You think me mad?
Mad? Insufferable, surely.
What are you trying to hear anyway?
I'll tell you if you can keep it quiet long enough for me to listen.
How dare you classify this slop as food? I've seen more appetizing things coming out of plague-stricken pigs.
There's nothing else I can make, Your Majesty. Turnips and water are all I was given.
Unacceptable. I've never dined on anything less than a dozen-course dinner, and I don't intend to do away with the custom.
Huh, this again.
Well, there has been a murder, Your Majesty. Maybe that has the Magisters more concerned than your appetite.
Don't you
Locked.
get saucy with me when you clearly don't know the first thing about sauce.
Keep with those bolts trained on her, and if she tries to run, shoot to kill.
Why won't you sing?
Seem on edge, officer. What on earth is the matter? Murder most foul, and I strongly suspect you know all about it. Do you? Well, perhaps...
Here's the register, ma'am. Good, good. Magister Williams has just about done with the last passenger. You faring okay so far?
There's nothing else I can make, Your Majesty. Turnips and water are all I was given.
Unacceptable. I've never done.
He tugs the collar of his uniform and chuckles.
Sorry you're upset, ma'am, but we all wear what we wear for a reason. You head on in now. Williams will get you sorted fast.
Don't you get saucy
those
with
bolts
me.
trained on
Clearly
her,
don't know
and
the
if she
first
tries
thing
to
about
run,
sauce.
shoot to kill. You seem on edge, officer. What on earth is the matter? Murder most foul, and I strongly suspect you know.
Standing at the center of the room, you spot a sorcerer haughtily eyeing a pair of nervous-looking magisters. They keep their crossbow trained upon her as she's being interrogated by an officer.
So you admit it then? You murdered that poor fella? Yes, I did. But of course, that was only the beginning.
She turns her head and looks you straight in the eye.
There are others whose lives must end. Good God, the woman's mad. You there, sorcerer, go and fetch Magister Siwan. We need to do more than collar this maniac. We need to shackle her, hands and feet. No, I'm afraid I always perform my part solo. Do stay and watch, though, because...
She reaches for her collar and simply removes it.
I'm just about to create a scene. Subdue her, men, quickly! If she casts source, the Voidwoken will come. They'll end us all.
She smiles with wicked satisfaction.
Precisely.
What's happened?
What happened? Must have been the turnips. Water? Wine, for goodness sake! Oh!
The lizard's eyes close as he slips into unconsciousness. You shake the lizard by the shoulders, but you're unable to wake him up. Ifan lies motionless, curled on the ground like an animal. Under his shaggy hair, you can see green eyes fluttering as if in a nightmare. A low whine escapes his lips. His eyes flicker open, but he doesn't register your presence at all.
Lucien. Lucien.
Ifan cries out, then his eyes fall closed again. No matter how much you shake him now, he cannot be roused. The young woman lies in a heap on the floor. She's breathing normally, but her eyes are wide open, like those of a corpse. Dark, greyish-black clouds swirl through them. She doesn't stir. You shake the lizard by the shoulders. The dwarf lies in a heap on the floor, his great beard twisted and tangled around him. He is stock still. You can't see if he's living or dead. You hear a faint thud, thud, thud. He's alive, but only just. The Magister lies on the floor, unconscious and bleeding from a dire-looking wound.
Damn it! Need to get off this wreck, and quick. Not long before this thing snaps into splinters. That doesn't bode well. Onwards and upwards.
The marking on the door was painted recently, judging from its pungent scent. You recognize the symbol immediately for what it is, a warning of death fog within. You press your palm against the door to open it. The wood feels neither cold nor warm, but simply grey. The color drains from your hand, and you are left numb. moment you touch the door, your belly goes hollow and your skin goes pale. It doesn't budge. The door groans open, but an ashen shadow clouds your mind.
Gods, you need to get off this ship.
As the dead man's flesh slides down your throat, you feel his consciousness enter yours. His memories are yours to experience. You are Finn. Your heart is heavy. You know too much. It's all too much. You met him. A bright light blinds you, then fades. You feel a tremendous power in your hands, but they are shaking so hard you can barely use them. Suddenly you're on this very ship, crouched in a corner, hugging your knees. A figure approaches, an older woman. Her eyes are kind. She comes closer. She says she wants to talk. she reaches a hand toward you. You grasp it. The memories end. You are no longer Finn. You return to yourself with a jolt.
A lifeboat. That means there's still a chance.
Shut your trap, kid. Children and dwarfs first, just like the old stories say.
The dwarf yanks at one of the nearby ropes to no avail.
You said there were other people down there. We need to help them.
You see those tentacles, kid? It's time for getting the hell out of here.
Thank you! There's a ladder right over there. You can go straight down.
You're gonna be the death of us, you hear? Had to open your big mouth, didn't you?
If you can walk, get yourself up the ladder. There's a wait. Voidwoken!
beardless bugs won't sink the ship on my watch.
I thought Voidwoken was supposed to be scary.
They who are about to triumph.
I've faced worse.
Let's not tarry. This old tub is
I hear something. It's Magister Siwan, the one who put on this damn collar. Sounds like she needs help.
She tries to speak, but can only gape as she clutches her neck, trying to stem the bleeding of a gushing wound. With jagged movements, she raises her clenched fist and holds out a length of cloth soaked with some kind of strong-smelling tincture. Blood quickly soaks through the cloth. Magister Siwan's mouth opens and closes, her eyes wide in terror. Blood pours out from around the bandage. Magister Siwan reaches out to you, her hand flailing. It's working. The pressure is stemming the flow of blood. Siwan clutches your arm, her eyes locked with yours. Something within the ship snaps. The floorboards shudder. Siwan struggles to her feet, clinging to you tightly. The ship lets out a deep groan, then cracks.
Gods! It's ripping the ship apart!
I have plans for you, child. Rise.
Honorable Dallas, we lost a ship sailing sorcerer prisoners to Fort Joy. We assume some escaped and broke their collars. Their vile magic lured the Voidwoken. All who were aboard are presumed dead. Yours faithfully into eternity, High Judge Oriven.
I've danced with death before, but that was a particularly intimate waltz. I suppose I'm the lone survivor. How jolly.
Brachus Rex, ruler to some, tyrant to others, long dead to all.
Ugh, it's broken.
The child has a small mirror in his hands. He holds it up at angles, inspecting his eyes, his chin, the crown of his head. He spots you, and his arms snap to his sides.
I'm not supposed to talk to elves. Pa told me elves and lizards and dwarves bring bad guys. Void guys. That's right, isn't it? I guess I'm a sorcerer too. That's why I'm here, right? And you too?
The child screws up his face and looks at you hard. He lifts his mirror up to his nose, closes one eye, and looks at himself again.
I don't see any sauce on you or me. I guess they're wrong or crazy. It's better here than inside. They're gone now. The Magisters took them already. I guess now they're cured. And maybe they're waiting for me back at home. But you didn't die. There isn't anywhere safer. That's what I mean. You'll see. I guess I am, but it's just normal to be scared. Nowhere isn't scary.
Those are the same beasts that sank our ship. Damn, they made it to shore.
winds take you! I thought these bloody collars were supposed to keep those things at bay. Magister Jalen from the ship. I would have chosen a swifter death for him myself.
you spot a strange lizard gazing over the water with a steady, malcontent stare. His skin is of a bright, blood-red color. Could he be... Yes, you recognize him from the ship. It would seem you're not the only one who survived the tentacles of the deep. The lizard turns about with the graceful ease of a dancer, or a duelist. You lock eyes with his, two smouldering embers that sizzle your very soul.
No, I do not. Then again, I don't belong to the House of Dreams. I'm a prince of the House of War, a house you seem to be all too familiar with, judging by that rather fetching mark on your cheek. I see. Hence your search for a dreamer. For the dreamer, I suppose, the one that bound you to your master. Psst. We are being naughty, aren't we? You've clearly relinquished your duties by running away from your rightful owner. A crime punishable by death. No, I suppose they don't. Which is why I've no intention of carrying out the death sentence that I should. Besides, you did come back for me and all those others on a sinking ship after all. What do you say we bury the hatchet, you and I? For now, at least. Good, very good. I'm glad you're being so sensible. Glad I can return to my ruminations.
He sighs dramatically.
Tell me, what do you see when you cast your glance over this ocean? Judging by the dark pools that are your eyes, I'd say you're seeing yourself.
He looks out over the water once more, and so do you. A few tranquil moments pass as the waves lap against your thoughts.
As for myself, when I consider this vast expanse before us, I see an empire. I see continents dotted with mighty cities. And shimmering along the soft curve of the sea's horizon, I picture the palaces that formed my paradise. Lost. Of course, it's rather specific. Quite obviously, I'm musing over the very actual empire that I lost.
Suddenly, having all the air of being deeply offended, he stares at you with utter incredulity.
Well, don't just stand there gawking like an ape at an abacus. I already told you I'm a prince. Do you mean to tell me you don't know who I am? The very same. I am the Red Prince, the All-Conqueror, the World Tamer, the Spouse of the Sun. Of course you know me.
There's a brief moment's pause, during which his grandiloquent pose deflates ever so slightly.
That said, I suppose I must own up to the fact that I find myself rather in between all-conquering and world-taming opportunities at the moment. The grandeur that is my fate has hit a bit of a snag. But never you worry. For the throne I was destined, and my throne I shall have. Truly. A kind offer indeed. And you've already proven to be trustworthy enough. You came back for the others on that ship, after all. Fine, I accept. On one condition. For reasons I'll not disclose right now, it is imperative that I should meet with a dreamer, one of the mystics of my kind. I've reason to believe one of them may be present on this island, most likely the same chap you're looking for. Promise me we'll find him, and I'll extend you the blessing of my company. Jolly good. So, now that that's settled, first things first. Even if you are as versed in the art of eloquence as I am, that our swords will be doing a lot of the talking from here on out goes without saying. As a born fighter, I prefer the perfection of the blade myself. But I'm well acquainted with the secrets of magic, and yes, even subterfuge. What say you? Very well. Onwards, then, to victory or death.
The Red Prince nods and gives you a smile that wavers ever so delicately between courtesy and contempt.
Now, as you're aware, you'll be traveling with a prince. Proper forms of address include Your Majesty, Your Royal Highness, or if you're feeling particularly frivolous, My Lord. As your luck would have it, I seem to be fresh out of luggage, so you won't be required to carry my belongings. Of course, there are other forms of protocol to bear in mind, but I'll see to it you'll pick up the rest as we go. So, without further ado, let us be off! A black cat. A herald of wisdom in my homeland. How fortuitous.
The cat's eyes are clouded and grey, but it stares at you with acute intensity. Its eyes clear, and it shakes its head, confused. The cat's eyes are clouded and its eyes clear, and it shakes its head.
I never want to set foot on a stuffy old boat ever again. Never! shall I put this one? One, two, long deaded. Hey, lady. It's a lot nicer here than that stinking boat, huh? I'm sure glad you went back to save the others. Saw one of them wringing out their tunic at the shore a few hours ago. Say hi for me. Never.
We already know the truth, Magister. Now speak.
I am a proud loyal to the Order. I would not dream of subverting our cause.
We already know the truth, Magister. Now speak.
I am a proud loyal to the Order. I would not dream of subverting our cause.
Atusa, please.
Your Godwoken has asked you a question. Answer him.
Need I repeat myself?
But I know nothing of any Verdus.
We already know the truth, Magister. Now speak.
I told him I'd known
I am a proud loyal to the Order. I would not dream of subverting our cause.
Your Godwoken has asked you a question. Answer him. We already know the truth, Magister. Now speak.
I've spotted something. I wonder where this leads.
You walk up to a skeleton unlike any you have ever seen before. His skull seems to be carved into intricate patterns, with a gemstone sitting in the middle of his forehead. Approaching, you hear a profane rumble from the undead beast.
Bugger. How on earth am I supposed to... Oh. Perhaps...
Skeletal fingers reach down and grip the skin of the dead man's face, pulling sharply upwards. After a few more tugs at the man's cheeks, the skeleton relents, letting the head drop to the ground with a damp thud.
Damnation. That stuck fast. I wonder, does the beard act as some form of anchor? Ah! No! Stay back! Don't... Oh, it's you. I must admit I'm surprised. Perhaps you're more buoyant than I suspected. Oh, yes. An exceptionally common, but exceptionally valuable commodity. A face. A face that seems rather stubbornly attached to his skull. I would normally employ a tool to delicately but viciously rip the face from the body. I could then craft a mask to hide my bone. But as I lack such a tool...
The skeleton grabs the corpse by the cheeks and pulls hard, grunting in frustration as the body's skin holds firm.
Carved? Please. You hardly think I am one of your breed, do you? You have never seen anything like it because you have never met anyone like me. Simply put, I am an eternal, and you are not. You have my sympathies. Indeed, no one seems to have the good taste to be. My people are rather absent. At least from this realm. As for the others, well, there is an excavation site at the Black Pit's oil fields. Perhaps there I'll find my answers. I suppose, circumstances being what they are, it could be advantageous. You seem more at ease in this world than I. A guide would certainly be useful. Excellent. While we are conversing, perhaps you notice that I am rather skilled in, well, all things. Of course, the arcane arts are my little speciality, but being a brilliant wizard does not mean I cannot handle blade or bow. So, which do you require for this enterprise of yours? I could do that with one hand behind my spine. Now, shall we get... Splendid. Very well.
You hear a small whimpering sound from behind a basket. You peer behind it and find a small human child holding her knees and trembling. The child quiets and seems comforted by your presence. She looks up at you with curious eyes. A wide grin cracks across the child's face through her tears, showing two big gaps where her front teeth should be. She laughs.
Really? Yeah, Warrior Princess Coral. You're nice. You can have this. I found it outside, but I can't read it yet. That's next year, and then I'll learn it.
The child wipes her eyes and, grinning, plunks herself down on the earthen ground. She starts tracing shapes, hearts, stars, and diamonds into the dirt.
Grab a bottle of arrow. Grab a bottle of arrow. Grab a bottle of arrow. La 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 la. La 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 la. Grab a bottle of arrow. Grab a bottle of arrow. grab a bottle of arrow. La 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 la. Grab a bottle of arrow.
Where is she? You go with us. Who are you? Are you from the shelter? She says nothing of another. Fire, alas! She is so late! Yes, Atusa. She is a lizard. She is a magister, but she is kind. She says there are many magisters who do not agree with the bishop. She says they bring us to safety. But Atusa is overdue. She promises to come at noon. We are afraid to stay, afraid to leave. Beggars can't be choosers. Atusa extends her hand. I take it, even if it's but straw I grasp for. She says there is a shelter in the marshes outside the fort. She says she brings us there first. She knows a safe path. We wait for a boat, and then we go, wherever we make a new home.
They're transforming.
I'm fading!
Glory is mine!
Swallowed too much seawater by the looks of him.
Foolish to attempt an escape by sea in these waters.
La 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 la.
Your Godwoken has asked you a question. Answer him.
Need I repeat myself?
But I know nothing of any Verdus.
We already know the truth, Magister. Now speak.
I am a
Need I repeat myself?
But I know nothing of any Verda.
Stay back, sorcerer, and stay silent. Our Godwoken speaks.
We know you've been helping sorcerers escape, Atusa. We have proof.
I'd sooner cut my tongue out than lie to you, Alexander. I know nothing of any escapees.
If you can tell the Godwoken no more, your tongue is of no use. Cut it out.
This can't be serious, Alexander. Come!
You should know by now to obey your superior, Magister, whatever she may ask.
Atusa pinches the tip of her tongue with 2 fingers and brings her dagger to its root. Her eyes squeeze shut. Drops of blood form against the dagger's edge and quickly fall to the ground. She groans.
Stop! My father, may his soul rest in peace, would be disappointed in you, Atusa. To think you would lie to his only son, your bishop, and your friend these many years. The fate of our realm hangs in the balance. If you will not help us save it, then you will help the Void destroy it. Dallas?
Yes, Your Holiness?
I believe we're done here.
What a waste. Come, we'll be needed elsewhere.
The Lizard Magister, or what's left of her, lies in a puddle of gore.
She was a lizard, yet a magister. No matter her reasons, her penalty was fair.
These creatures are so prone to violence. Naturally, the weaker specimens suffer.
He hasn't changed a bit. Always late.
A single name throbs across your brain. Verdas, Verdas, Verdas! He must escape. He cannot die here. He cannot!
Didn't I?
She's gone, Father. Gone.
He hasn't changed a bit. Always late. Where
She's
is
gone,
he?
Father. Gone.
I told him at noon exactly.
Pipe down.
Didn't I?
It's time to accept reality. Fire her. She ain't coming back.
Where is he?
She's gone, Father. Gone.
Where's the oil?
I got my eye on you, Moss Muncher. Don't try any of that sauce business on my watch or I'll do to you what the hammer did to that traitor. Well, that's true now, isn't it? With that little ring around your neck, you can't conjure so much as a boo. Like a cat without its claws, ain't you? During the time of Lucian, of course. Who wouldn't join up with God himself? It was all glory, all goodness.
Pipe down. It's time to accept reality.
I told him at noon exactly. Didn't I?
Fire her. She ain't coming back.
When we lost him, well, it only... Did you see them, miss? Bishop Alexander and the Hammer herself? They were so close, almost within arm's reach.
She's gone, Father. Gone.
A traitor cannot be murdered. A traitor can only receive their due.
He hasn't changed a bit. Always late.
Easy enough to say in times of peace, but look around. We're standing on the edge of the end. The Void Woken are coming, miss. And it's only the divine order that can protect...
He hasn't changed a bit. Always late. Come on, old man. I can't wait all day.
Fella can't hear himself think with all this racket. Day and night she hollers after that child. You hear that, Farah? You got to cut that out. What's happened to ya? Aye, she needs help, but none that I can give. Mad as a cooker, that one, and twice as loud. Distraught don't even begin to cover it. She's hollering after that child of hers, killed by a void woken she was. Been dead and buried for a month now. Never even stepped foot in Fort Joy. And there ain't no amount of hollering that'll bring her back.
Please, can you... An elf! Stay away, cannibal. If I find out you've gone near my baby, I'll skin you alive. Please, please, just go. Irma, dear.
I don't think I ain't watching. That's your 5th blue jester this round.
What of it? Yeah,
Irma.
what of it? Farah. She ain't coming back.
Don't like the game stops so you can fold.
No. Just because the pair of you are filthy cheating liars don't mean I can't beat you.
A little respect for Griff's right hand, Topsy girl.
Right hand, my winker.
I'm not mad, darling. I'm not mad. Sweetheart?
That's it. I call court. Pay up.
The woman is scrabbling at her throat, as though she can hardly breathe.
Don't touch me. You're too close. This collar, this place, it's squeezing the life from me. Do you? You seem fine. Don't you feel how tight this collar is?
Her hands move again to her throat. She seems to try to make space between her neck and the collar, but there's no space to be made.
Say, I don't know any elvish ditties. Got nothing spicy enough to keep my mind off this place for a few bars. Don't break your head vain now. Been that long since you've been home, has it? Yeah, pity. Pity.
Will source change back? What if there are no sorcerers left? Yet so quickly, we find...
The lizard's brow knits together, then apart, and back again. He seems to be swimming deep in his thoughts, and doesn't look up as you approach.
What? Oh, new, are you? Very good, very good. Make yourself at home. Goods? Ah, yes, yes, of course.
1,000 bottles of dust. 50 bottles of tears old. Make the hinges rust.
My mind? What else, my friend? I'm wondering why. All of this. Source, the Voidwoken, the Divine. Why? Naturally. How could one not? We've used Source for thousands of years. We have used it to heal, to grow. How can it be that it suddenly summons these horrors from the void? And when will Alexander ascend to divinity? We cannot continue like this.
Did you say?
You there. You've just arrived, isn't that right? Are you quite alone?
The man scowls at you.
I thought I might see if you wanted to get out of this place. Though maybe I ought to ask someone who isn't a prissy fop.
When another divine arises, will source change back? What if there are no sources? Yet so quickly, we find source so dangerous.
I have a plan. A good one. But I need a partner.
But why? When another divine...
Ha! You would be too if you'd been here as long as I have. In fact, you should be nervous if you're here at all. I know what they have planned for us, and it ain't pretty. I've been here a long time. Longer than anyone else. People get taken sometimes. Some folks say they get cured. I don't know if I believe it, and I don't want to wait and find out. I have a way out of here. It won't be easy, and I need a partner. Just one. Are you interested? Oh, noble. But after the Magisters take you all, your nobility will have been for nothing. Good luck with your friend.
When another divine arises, will source change back? What if